Hey guys, Rav here, and today I've decided to take everything I've learned about explosives from my myth videos and my time playing DayZ to compile it into one short video, a guide on explosives if you must say so. Currently there are 5 different forms of explosions in DayZ: EGD5 frag grenades, 6M7 frag grenades, and 8M4 flashbangs, as well as landmines and gas pumps. First, let's discuss the 2 grenades as they work on a similar concept. Both of them have a 4-second fuse, however this fuse is only active once the grenade leaves your hand. Well, what does this mean? Well, you can unpin a grenade in your hands for as long as you want and it won't explode. It's important to note that a unpinned grenade will explode if in your inventory. Basically anything that's not in your hands, so your backpack, jacket, even attached to your vest. You might think that kind of sucks because you can't cook grenades, but you can. I mean, you can cook grenades, like you can literally cook grenades and fires, but you can also cook grenades. There is also one thing I missed out. See, if you unpin a grenade, drop it on the floor, which then starts the 4-second fuse, and then pick it back up, it will explode in your hands. So in theory, this is a very risky way to cook grenades, but it works, and in some situations might be worth the risk. Seeing cooking a grenade allows you to control when the grenade explodes and limit the time your enemies have to react. However, there's another tactic which we can use to make this strategy less risky. Now, follow this one closely. If you unpin a grenade, drop it on the floor for let's say 2 seconds, pick it back up in your hands and pin it before it explodes, it is now safe again and it won't explode in your hands. However, this is where it gets interesting. Once we unpin the grenade, again, as long as we keep it in our hands the entire time, it won't explode, but as soon as it leaves our hand, the fuse starts again. But it doesn't start from the typical 4 seconds. It remembers the time it was on the floor and reduces the fuse accordingly. So in this example, it would now have roughly a 2-second fuse. Is this useful? I guess, like, it's very fucking risky, and if you don't get the timers correctly, you could have a grenade which explodes way too early after leaving your hands, either injuring or killing you. However, I believe a grenade is more effective if it explodes slightly above the enemy. This is because furniture, other players and such will absorb the explosion, protecting players behind them, so you should be able to see the advantage of having it explode above them, away from any potential cover. So what are the main differences between these grenades? Well, for one, they both do the same damage, the main difference being the effective range of these damages. It is said that the EDG5 grenade has a maximum range of 9 meters with the ability to one-shot players within 3 meters. But this distance is going to change a lot depending on the type of equipment they are wearing, as each item offers different explosive protections. As a rule of thumb, the closer to the grenade, the more damage it will deal. The same principle is true for the 6M7, however this is more effective at range. It can deal damage within 15 meters and it can also one-shot players within 5 meters. So obviously the 6M7 is a better grenade in nearly every situation. I guess if you're super close to the enemy, the EDG5 has a place, but I'd still be taking the 6M7 over it any day. One of the most interesting things I found out about grenades in my myth busting series is the fact that you can jump on top of them to save your buddies. If you belly flop onto a grenade, you will absorb all damage and protect everyone else. Obviously, you should be trying to drag it into your inventory and pin it, but this is not always possible as you don't have much time to work with. I'd actually love to see a clip of someone saving their friends this way. So yeah, next time you and your boys are camping in camo and the grenade comes rolling in, do us all a favour. That is not it for grenades though, there's a couple more ways you can use grenades to your advantage. As there's another way grenades can be made to explode, the first method is to unpin it, and this is true to all explosive devices, they will explode when ruined. And there's a couple ways we can go about ruining a grenade. The most obvious way is to just shoot it. This works for grenades on the floor. So in theory, you could set up a grenade at a far distance and snipe it as some sort of makeshift remote explosive. A lot of people claim it's possible to shoot a grenade on someone's vest or in their hands and cause it to explode. However, I'm yet to see any evidence of this, and I've personally tested all these claims and they've not exploded. And before you say that you've seen it in a miss of somebody's video and he sniped a grenade off their vest and blew up, well, let me break it to you, they're all scripted. So no, you can't shoot a grenade on a player and have it ruin. You can't actually damage a grenade inside of a container. For example, you can place a backpack full of items on the floor, spray it up, and everything but the grenade will ruin. This is true for items in hands, attached to vests, in inventories, and in other containers such as barrels and tents. But there's another way to ruin grenades, and this is with fires. You can put any item into a fire and it will start to damage it. So As expected, you can put grenades into a fire and it will eventually ruin it, which triggers it to explode and kill anyone around the fire. This is also true for cooking pots. Doing this can take up to 20 seconds, but it's a really sneaky way to get a kill and no one even needs to see the grenade, as you can drag it straight from your inventory into the fire. Now, if you've watched my myth series, you might have seen my grenade chain. This works on the principle that a grenade exploding will ruin any grenades nearby in its critical range, and as we know, a ruined grenade creates another explosion. So yes, you can set grenades up in a line and start a chain, like so. That's pretty much everything for grenades. They're probably going to change them in the future so that you can cook them in your hands, but who really knows. Anyway, on to our next explosive device, the flashbang. A flashbang has a 2-second fuse. Now, flashbangs are considered very unreliable, but this isn't entirely true. People assume they don't work as intended, as at the right distance, you can look straight at one and suffer no effects. This is because a flashbang is only effective within 5 meters, which isn't as large as it sounds. So, to effectively use a flashbang, you have to get it within 5 meters of your enemy and within their field of view, otherwise you will not blind them. In addition, the blindness only lasts for 2.5 seconds, with then another 5 seconds of blurred vision, so that's 7.5 seconds your target's vision is obstructed. However, even if you don't manage to get it in their field of view, but still within the 5 meters, it will give them a hearing loss effect, which lasts for 5 seconds and removes almost all hearing capabilities from the victim. Again, another added benefit is the fact that all stamina is lost from the victim. This makes the flashbang a very effective tool at Russian buildings, and could help you pick up a few easy kills. Even though a flashbang is listed as non-lethal, this is not true. A flashbang will deal small amounts of damage and even has the possibility to one-shot you. Next, I'll discuss landmines, a very effective tool for defending an entrance. Once placed, a landmine has a 10-second delay before activation. During this activation, a ticking sound is made. You cannot pick the device back up, so choose carefully where you place it. Once placed, the landmine will last for 2 hours before it despawns. In this time, it will explode immediately once stepped on. Can disarm a landmine with a shovel, however, this will cause it to explode every time and kill you, so don't even try it. The best way to deal with landmines is either to try jump over them, which is risky but can work. However, the best way I found is just to shoot it from a safe distance, as the effective range of a landmine is only 3 meters. That's pretty much all landmines have to offer. Unlike grenades, they won't explode when cooked, however, they will explode when shot. Our final explosive is something that every DayZ player has to shoot at least once, and this is the pumps at gas stations. Shooting it will cause it to explode. You can also hit it with an item and it will eventually explode, making it a great way to suicide if you get a bad spawn. Can you get a kill with this? I mean, of course, I've actually done it twice. It's a great laugh. Anyway, if you have any further questions, please comment them down below. This has been Rav. Stay safe out there. Catch you in the next one.